Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Are the Warriors capable of winning the championship this season? I am a Warriors fan and I want the dynasty to return to San Francisco, but at the same time we fans know that this team is good, but something is missing to be a favorite. The Warriors lack big men and a solid young core, which cannot keep up the pace during the season. After this season, trades will be made to correct the flaws and some young players will leave so that the Warriors can get solid players and build a team to win the championship next season. Proposed trade between the Warriors and the Portland Trail Blazers, and Brandin Podziemski will be traded along with other players. The Golden State Warriors could easily land two major upgrades in this bold blockbuster trade proposal with the Portland Trail Blazers. The Golden State Warriors are back on the right track after they committed to their win-now direction over the winter with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. They've been flying through the NBA since Butler joined the team, going 15-4. While they can't make more win-now moves this season, this sample size will convince them they're real contenders with this core. Assuming they fail to win a title, it could provide the impetus for more win-now moves in the summer. The Portland Trail Blazers have been surprisingly competitive this season with a 32-40 record. The emergence of Deni Avdija has been key in this competitive streak, but the franchise core includes the likes of Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe. If they don't have an immediate win-now window, Avdija could fetch some healthy assets back, as could Robert Williams. The Warriors should target those two players in a potential summer trade. Golden State Warriors receive Deni Avdija, Robert Williams III. Portland Trail Blazers receive Jonathan Kuminga, Brandin Podziemski, 2027 first-round pick, GSW, 2031 first-round pick, GSW. This deal gives the Blazers two high-potential youngsters with two future picks. The 2031 pick in particular could be highly valuable as it's beyond the timeline of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Butler. Meanwhile, the Warriors land two relatively young players who can help them win right now and provide value in the future. The Warriors have a strong roster this season, but it's not one that people expect can compete with the best teams in the NBA. The Warriors could make a run to the second round or conference finals, but it's hard to see them credibly beating a team like the OKC Thunder. If they beef up their starting five up with these talented additions, it's hard to count them out against any team in the NBA. Deni Avdija is averaging 15.9 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 3.7 assists this season. He had a slow start, as evidenced by his averages of 25.6 points, 11.1 rebounds, and 5.4 assists over the last 7 games, proving he has all-star potential as a two-way forward. Robert Williams has averaged 5.8 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks. His injury troubles make him a questionable acquisition, but if healthy, he'd be the perfect starting center for the franchise. A five of Curry, Butler, Avdija, Draymond, and Williams would be lethal. Curry and Avdija will be offensive leaders with Butler contributing at a high level on both ends. Draymond and Williams will comprise the defensive spine of the team while retaining rotational contributors like Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Tracy Jackson-Davis, Gue Santos, and more. A win-now deal with two happy partners. Both teams get what they bargained for in this deal. Avdija is a highly portable forward who's taken a scoring leap this season while also showing great defensive instincts in the frontcourt. He'd be an excellent help defender and could carry a great offensive burden in the regular season. He's a deft playmaker for his position, a high-energy rebounder, and a competent scorer. It's a perfect addition. Robert Williams might not be able to endure the grind of a full season, but if he's healthy from February onwards, he'd be a major contributor as well. It lessens the load Draymond carries defensively, with these additions boosting the Warriors in the positions they need. The Blazers can find ways to readjust around a newer and younger core with quality talent. The picks are a bonus, and there's a world where both Kuminga and Podziemski develop into being better assets than Avdija or Williams. Steve Kerr reveals scary admission about Warriors season. Things were looking rosy for the Golden State Warriors once they acquired six-time All-Star forward Jimmy Butler early last month. They promptly went on a stretch during which they won 16 of 19 games, and they were starting to look like dark horse championship contenders. But they have now lost 2 games in a row to the Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat, 2 mediocre squads they should have defeated. They're clinging to 6th place in the Western Conference with a 41-31 record, and they're dangerously close to having to go through the play-in tournament to make the playoffs. Golden State will visit the New Orleans Pelicans, who have the second-worst record in the West on Friday. One may assume that the team will get an easy win in that game, but head coach Steve Kerr actually feels it will be a much bigger contest than it may seem. "I think Friday is the biggest game of the year for us," Kerr told reporters after the Warriors' loss on Tuesday. "We've lost 2 games in a row, very poor performances. It's time. We got to bounce back, and that's what good teams do. And I'm confident that we will do that." Granted, Stephen Curry has been ailing lately. Kerr said he was tired and exhausted after going 6 of 21 in a loss to a shorthanded Denver Nuggets team last Monday, and he missed Tuesday's game with a pelvis injury. John Hefty main images, but a team with Butler, not to mention solid complementary players throughout its roster, shouldn't lose to mediocre teams such as Atlanta or Miami. The Warriors missed the playoffs last season, and if they were to miss the playoffs again this season, there would be plenty of negative energy in the San Francisco Bay Area for months to come. Jimmy Butler return turns into nightmare as fans scathe Curry-less Warriors. A woeful effort after such a big build-up. The Golden State Warriors have lost back-to-back games for the first time since Jimmy Butler's arrival, with the 6x All-Stars return to Miami quickly turning into a nightmare at Casillas Center on Tuesday. What was anticipated to be a tight, hard-fought contest was anything but, as the Warriors never led in a disappointing 112-86 blowout loss. Butler was kept to a paltry 2 points in the first half, and while the veteran forward showed a little more in the second, it was still arguably Golden State's worst offensive performance of the season. The Warriors looked lifeless without Stephen Curry. Superstar guard Stephen Curry was ruled out of the game after initially being listed as questionable with his pelvic contusion suffered last Thursday against the Toronto Raptors. The Warriors subsequently missed the 2x MVP in spades, having shot less than 40% from the floor and 23.7% from three-point range in a lifeless offensive display. After trailing 57-40 at halftime, a late third-quarter 10-0 run briefly gave Golden State a chance as the margin was reduced to 8. The night's regular programming resumed after that though, with the visitors kept to just 16 points in the fourth quarter. Fans were left frustrated and downright appalled with the Curry-less Warriors, particularly in a game that had drawn so much publicity as Butler returned to face the team he twice led to the NBA Finals. Jonathan Kuminga led Golden State in scoring with 15 points on 4 of 10 shooting and 6 of 9 from the free throw line in nearly 25 minutes off the bench, but it wasn't the type of performance to ease concerns surrounding the former 7th overall pick following his return from a 31-game absence. Brandin Podziemski showed signs of individual shot creation in Curry's absence, yet his 14 points still only came on 6 of 16 shooting to go with 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Butler had just 11 points and 6 rebounds on 5 of 12 shooting, while fellow veteran Draymond Green also provided little and was focused on arguing with officials more than anything. Moses Moody had arguably his worst performance of the season, going a shocking 0 of 9 from beyond the arc while finishing with 7 points on 3 of 13 shooting overall. Gue Santos was perhaps the only individual positive from a Golden State perspective, with the Brazilian forward going for 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting in less than 20 minutes off the bench. Andrew Wiggins didn't have to do a whole lot offensively, but certainly contributed to his former team's woes with a strong defensive display that included 2 steals and 3 blocks in 28 minutes. The Warriors are once again in danger of falling back in the standings, and will be hoping like nothing else that Curry can return for Friday's game against the Pelicans in New Orleans. It only took one Andrew Wiggins revenge game to show what Warriors are missing. As the Golden State Warriors continued their road trip in a matchup against the Miami Heat, all eyes were on Jimmy Butler after a very public falling out with Pat Riley and the front office earlier this season. Leading up to his return, Butler consistently downplayed the hype and animosity, treating it essentially like a regular game in his conversations with the press. The Warriors simply did not bring the requisite intensity on either end of the floor, ultimately falling to the Heat 112-86 in their second straight loss. Butler had just 2 points in the first half, before finishing with 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. This is another crushing defeat for Golden State after Saturday's loss to the Atlanta Hawks, with the franchise now standing only a half game above the Los Angeles Clippers and Minnesota Timberwolves for the 6th seed in the Western Conference. While Butler's return was the main storyline of the game, former Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins' role in promulgating his former team's backslide should not go unnoticed. Andrew Wiggins gets his revenge game against Warriors. Wiggins, who played a major role in Golden State's 2022 title run, was traded away by the team in a group of 4 players used to acquire Butler from the Heat. Since the trade, the two teams have taken diverging paths. While Butler's presence has transformed the Warriors from a fringe play-in team to a sneaky championship contender in the loaded Western Conference, the Heat have gone 7-16 and almost fallen out of the play-in in the East. Yet Wiggins has seemingly found his offensive form again with the Heat, averaging 21 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3.1 assists per game since the trade. While the Warriors certainly do not regret including Wiggins in the trade, since the fit between him and Butler would have been questionable at best, the Canadian has indeed shown how he can flourish when given a larger offensive role. While Wiggins scored only 10 points against Golden State, his intensity throughout the night was notable, with his 3 steals and 2 blocks all presenting eye-popping displays of his hustle and athleticism. In fact, Wiggins' display was made more concerning by the fact that the Warriors were out-hustled throughout the entire game, losing the rebound battle and shooting only 39.8% from the field in a woeful offensive display. With star guard Stephen Curry expected to return from injury on Friday against the New Orleans Pelicans, Golden State has failed to take advantage of a rare chance to gain separation from the play-in teams breathing down their neck. If the standings in the Western Conference stay tight throughout the rest of the season, Wiggins may have effectively left his mark on the Warriors' chances of a bona fide playoff berth thanks to a strong defensive performance on Tuesday. NBA playoff bracket: if the season ended today, where would Warriors fall? This matchup could be tough. Even with their recent losses to the Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors still stand in sole possession of the 6th seed in the Western Conference with just 10 games remaining in the regular season. After spending a large part of their season mired in mediocrity, Golden State's trade for Jimmy Butler at the deadline has revitalized them on both ends of the floor. The Warriors are 16-5 in their last 21 games, and with the tight race in the West, are still an outside chance to even reach home court advantage for the first round of the playoffs. Unsurprisingly, a chunk of Golden State's upcoming schedule will serve as a sort of playoff preview, with matchups against the Memphis Grizzlies, Los Angeles Lakers, Denver Nuggets, and Houston Rockets coming next week. With how Golden State have been playing prior to their last 2 games, they must like their odds against any of these teams. Yet if the season were to end today, the Warriors would be in line for a tough matchup against the Denver Nuggets. Western Conference NBA playoff bracket as of today. Oklahoma City Thunder, 1, versus Minnesota Timberwolves, 8. Houston Rockets, 2, versus LA Clippers, 7. Denver Nuggets, 3, versus Golden State Warriors, 6. Memphis Grizzlies, 4, versus Los Angeles Lakers, 5.